Hi guys, welcome back. Offset here. Today is Thrifty Thursday. First of all, thank you for my new subscribers and thank you so much for my returning subscribers. And of course, if you've been watching me, many of you know that the Sisters in Thread, which is myself, Fatmata, and Tashana, we won first place in Project G Street, which is like Project Runway. But I'll be back with another video with all of like some details and our aspirations and how we came about it and all of that. It was wonderful. It was a great experience for I guess you could say restarting my sojo. So you can see a couple of things here behind me. So this is, let me get here. There. That was piece number 4 of the selection I had asked you guys about last Friday. And yes, I stayed up all night. I made a 2-piece outfit. And I am quite proud of it. It's a elastic waist pants, trousers. The waist is a little bit big. I'll tell you which pattern I use for that. Let me see. So I was searching around for different patterns. I knew that I wanted to do like a pair of pull-on trousers. But you know, there's some pull-on pants that initially they look like real simple. You know, you can turn the waistband over and insert the elastic. And I was actually going to do this pattern. McCall's 8099. But there is a separate piece. Let me see if I can get this focus. A separate piece for the waistband. And since time was of the essence, I didn't feel like futzing around with cutting out more pieces and all of that. And so I finally scrounged up this. Now, this pattern calls for very soft fabrics, you know, like gauze, crepe, challis, even some stable knits. Did not call for a cotton, and I can see why, because the part from the hips to the waist has a lot of space to work with. I didn't mind it. I took it in as much as I could initially. As I said, the waistband is a little bit bigger, but it has pockets. I inserted the pockets here, which I love. I made them a little bit longer so I can put my phone down in there, because what can you carry in the pockets nowadays? Made from this beautiful ankara. I don't know where I got it from. I do not remember. It's probably about maybe 4.5, maybe. What I have left is not much. This is all I have left. And it was just enough for me to eke out the pants with this print going down the front of the leg and down the back as well as the shirt. And the shirt, I knew I wanted it to be a button-up shirt. I wanted it to be a crop top, and so it is a short sleeve crop top. But you know, when you're working with a large print like this, pattern placement is important. Of course, you know, I didn't want the star to be over my boob, so I made sure that I placed it above. I also, when I laid out the sleeve portion, I wanted the star or this geometric motif to be in the center of the sleeve. I did the same with the back of the collar. I can turn it this way. See, I wanted that star to be to the center of the collar. And initially when I laid this out, stay with me. When I laid this out, I thought that I had wanted these motifs to go down the side of the trouser, because wouldn't that be so cool that it would go down the side? And I was was looking for all of my one-piece pants patterns. They were huge, so I ended up pulling out a pajama bottom pattern, and then I don't know, it just seemed to be too much of a hassle. I still had that thought in my mind, and I used this pattern, this McCall's pattern, laid it out, and when I cut out the pants, I was like, I wanted the motif to go down the side of the leg. But it worked out perfectly, because if you can see, I'm going to have to get some updated photos. But the motif on the back of the pants, when I'm standing still, the motif matches down to the front of the trouser. Like, it doesn't get much better than that for like pattern matching. And I don't know. I was just in a zone, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew about my placement, and I am thrilled with this. So that goes into, if you look at my community posts, Ankara Appreciation Week has long passed, but I'm always going to appreciate Ankara, and I'm doing the prompts. So this is actually for day 4, which was a small and large scale pattern, I guess you could say. So the bubbles, small, and then I guess it's an abstract star. Those are my large prints. I'm going to leave Amina's link. She created this little guide that you can follow. Just because Ankara Appreciation Week has passed doesn't mean that you can't sew up your Ankara. There's so many ideas here that you can work with, that if you have a ton of Ankara and you're not sure, like you want to do something different, sometimes you might have a 6-yard piece. I have some that are 1-yard pieces, just different things that I wanted to do. So my goal is to knock out, I have 6 more of these I think to do, and then what I'll do, I'll swatch them, and when I'm done, I'm hoping to be done by Labor Day, my 6 Ankara project. So that has given me something to be focused on, something to look forward to. So the pants pattern, as I said, I use this one. I believe this one is still in print. You can get this from simplicity.com. And then I used an out of print, I guess you guys would call it vintage now, pattern. You see it's cropped, that one. It's cropped. And that's pretty much what I was going for right there. And, sewing is the smallest part. It's the laying out. And when you're working with graphic print, like, want to make sure that you lay it out correctly so it doesn't end up in the right place. That ate up a lot of time. And in my mind, I saw the project, how I was going to sew it, how it was going to be completed. And maybe at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm still sewing this thing. I was sewing on the buttons at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be at the event by 8:30. So needless to say, I was a bit tardy, but darling, I look fabulous. Actually, I look as good as I could. When you watch the video that me, Fatmata, and Tanasha did, I threw some tips in there. We all did, about what we could have done better. And one of the things that I could have done better was to take care of myself. So today's Thrifty Thursday, and I wanted to show you a couple of things that I bought. I am participating in Pattern Review's Upcycle. There's an Upcycle challenge contest that's going on till the end of the month. And of course, it's, to take something in its formal state and redo it and make it into something else, okay? I'm still actually trying to figure out what I'm going to make, but I think I've narrowed it down. But yesterday, I went to my thrift store, local red, white, and blue thrift store here in Maryland, and I found some things that, oh my goodness. So I went there on, the first day was What's today? Tuesday. I just went in. I was supposed to go to the grocery store, and I said, let me go in, take a look. And they had, 50% off this color, 75% off this color. And I was like, oh my goodness. And they only take cash, so I had $24 on me. And I found this white fabric. Let me see if I can get close. Look at that. I'm always going to go for texture. So I'm thinking I'm going to make a pair of trousers with this. This is going to be at the top of my queue. Look at that. It's 2 panels. They are curtains. It is. Let me see. Let me show you. Yeah. Because you can see this way you put the curtain rod through. It's made from, I'm sure it's 100% polyester. Yes, it is. And I don't have an issue with the twins, Polly and Esther. They have done me well. I'd rather use what's already here. I know that there's a lot of talk, could be disparaging talk about polyester. I'd rather not decimate the earth any more than she's already been tortured by having new. I appreciate natural fibers, but I also want to use what's here. So I'm always going to find something that I can work with. That. And then I found this. And this is also a set of curtains. See, you can see that there. But look at that. Crinkly textured, the colors. It is lined with something, like this is the back of it, so it's not even lined. That's the back of it. It's not sheer, so I am not going to line it. This is probably going to be pants as well, but I'm wide leg pants. I'm just not sure about the top yet. I may do the top. I'm thinking something like this. Let me see. I had a newspaper clipping here. I might not have it in here now. Oh, wait, here we go. Because you guys know I don't know how to insert pictures and, glass is crooked, all of that. But I was thinking something like this or like this. But there's also, I think it's a simplicity pattern. I don't know which one. It just came out and it has, there's 2. One, I think is supposed to be like a pair of pajamas, wrap over jacket. Maybe that one. And then it's a butterick pattern. It has long billowy sleeves and it wraps over as well. I just need to check and see how much yardage I have and how much yardage that will take. So, let me give you a couple of things. Thrifty Sunday. It's National Thrifty Day on Sunday, August 17th, coming up. So go to your local thrift stores and look in your apps for any coupons, sign up for your stores, and go thrifting on Sunday, after, make it an outing, make it something enjoyable to spend some time with your family. I also want to thank So Carol. If you watch her, she does the Wheel of Fate, and I'm going to do that. I think maybe I'm going to focus on maybe working through some of these animal prints. Oh my goodness, wait, I'm over here. Right there, like there, all across there. Animal prints, here, the green and white. There, yeah? I love animal print. But back to what I was saying. So Thrifty Sunday, So Carol. I was watching one of her videos, Wheel of Fate, and where she chose 5 pieces of fabric to work through. It's like spin the wheel and such like that. And it piqued my interest. I don't know if I want to buy a spinning wheel or maybe swatch everything on a piece of, I have like cardstock and fold them up. I have a big cookie jar that I can throw them down in and pull. You guys leave your suggestions down for me, what we can do, and we'll go ahead and get started on whatever we pull out of the cookie jar is what I'll work on. Oh my goodness. But it may be a good way for me to start working on some of this stuff. But, you guys, when I saw her pull out her pillowcase, she said that it was an erroneous order from Amazon. And she said, oh, it's big enough to hold the needles. I was like, oh my goodness, look at that. Like, so this past weekend when we were doing our thing for Project G Street, I had all the needles that we could possibly need in here on the table, ready and accessible. So that's just a hint of something. Make the investment. This cost me $8, and I think it's a fantastic way for me to store my needles. I don't know how else to store. I have them standing up like in a basket, but I just took them out of the packages, and this is just a great way to store them. I'll put a link to that one. I do have some patterns to show you, but I don't want to keep you too long. Let's see. So, we all are aware of what's going on, kind of, sort of, with the pattern situation. I have a lot of patterns. It really bugs me that my glasses are crooked. I swear, there we go. But I've also been shopping on eBay. I have a supplier, a dealer, a vendor, whatever your habits are, who is has a lot for me to choose from. So I have a few of them, and maybe I'll link one or two down below. But the prices are reasonable. Shipping is very, very reasonable. Sometimes I've gotten free shipping with some patterns. So a while ago, I had purchased this pattern. Oh gosh, I think I got it for maybe $7 or $8. The DVF patterns are extraordinarily, incredibly pricey. And when I saw this one, I grabbed it. It was a size 10. And then they did a reissue of the same pattern. So this one has one size, and this one has, this is the 8 to 16 packet. It looks like it goes up to a size 26. Everything looks the same. I'm going to do a little comparison to see, but I do want to make this up. I don't know. It's just something about it I like. I can see this in the fall with boots. I also got this reprint of DVF's design. I have a copy of this. It's not in great shape, so it's very tender. So I'm glad when they reissued this. It's on my, gonna be in the queue as well. And let me see, what else do I have? Yeah, I got a few other things, but I'm not gonna hold you. It's been 20 minutes. So remember, go thrifting. Sunday is Thrifty, National Thrifting Day, August 17th. And I hope you find some good stuff. Let's go ahead and reuse and repurpose and reclaim things that may or may not end up in the landfill. So with that, I am done. Stay creative, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye for now.